class. We've had a time to talk about Flowers for Algernon. We've discussed some of the more important themes and aspects of the story. Daniel Keyes really seemed to touch on an identity and finding the true self in that story. Now, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you all individually to pull out a piece of paper and write what, how, why, or WHW chart up on top. Make sure your names are on it. And I want you to write a list of questions, as many questions as you can think of, with those three questions: what, how, and why. So, for example, we might go with what was the meaning of the story, or what's the point of the story, uh, what is the importance of the story, how was the message displayed, how was the story important to us in modern times, uh, how how are these morals and messages relevant in today's life. Why is the story important? Why was the story told in such manners? Why did Daniel Keyes write the story Flowers for Algernon? Just think of a few questions of each of those and go ahead and write them down. And I'll take a walk around the class and make sure that you're doing it correctly. Okay, let's see here. Oh, that looks pretty good, John. Oh, that's an interesting question. Well, why do you think that Daniel Keyes wrote the story? You know, was it was it to tell people to be confident in their own identity, to not strive after others, or just something to think about? But I love that question there. You, Isabel? Isabel, oh, that's a great. Oh, that is a good question. Okay. Well, keep in mind that you are using this for thesis formulation. So these questions are to get you to ponder what it is with the argument that you are going to be formulating. Hey, guys, I need you to get to work back here, okay? Don't make me have to separate you. I know you guys got it. We had great discussion, but I need you to focus now, okay? All right. So, did you have any specific questions? No? Okay. All right. So, looking, moving on. Once you guys do have these questions written, go ahead and try to think about some of the answers for them. Some of the answers. So, for example, I have what was the message of the text? Well, the message of the text is uh, to be confident in your identity and to not don't chase after false dreams because they might not be what they seem. And how was it displayed? Well, it was displayed by Daniel Keyes showing what happens when you want something, when you want to be somebody that you're not. And what happens when you want to be somebody that you're not? In this case, it brought death. It brought death to Algernon, and it's bringing death, to the main character. And why is this important? Well, why is this important in modern society? Is because uh, so many of us, myself included, have wanted something thinking that that was going to be the answer to all our problems, and it wasn't. And instead, it brought pain and it brought uh, uh, sorrow to our lives. So it's meant to tell us that to be happy with what we have and to grow what we have instead of to trying to be something other than what we're not. So what I want you to do is once you have these questions answered, is to go ahead and try to write down a single sentence, one sentence summarizing all three of these questions, and that is going to be your thesis. Your thesis needs to include what was the point of the story, how was it displayed, and why is it important. So, for example, my thesis might look something like along the lines of Flowers for Algernon is a story that talks about identity and finding truth in who you are, and it was displayed by a character who has the opportunity to become somebody that he's not and chooses to do so but regrets it later. And the story represents false ideas that that come from doing things that you do not want doing things that are not necessarily truly represented. So that is a very long sentence. I want you to kind of condense it. We can clean it up, but that is the general idea here. Is I want you guys to come up with a way to write or summarize these three sentences, these three questions into one, and we'll work on it together. So let's go around. I'll give you some time, but start writing, and we'll work on this together. So based on your questions here, what do we have? Let's take a look. And you guys can talk amongst yourselves so long as it's about the word. Okay. So you think that, hold off one moment. Guys, pay attention. Wow, that is an excellent, okay, so that is an excellent point here. So you need to, now that you have that sentence written out, I want you to make sure that you're touching back on the what, how, and why. Remember, because those are the three things I'm going to be looking for in your thesis statement, and that is going to be what your essay is proving, okay? So and if you don't have enough, if you don't think you have enough with the questions you've asked, ask other questions, because you're not limited to one set of questions. You can, this whole thing is meant for you to be creative and for you to, what is the importance of the story? What happened in the story? What made me want to turn the next page of the story? These are all questions that can be applied. So what, how is the story important? How was the story displayed? How could the story have been better off written? So with these in mind, just write down those questions and try to think of a single sentence, though, that answers all three.